Hello, theater addicts. I'm Celine DeBlanco, and this is Katie Perch, who is in the show Hullaboo and the End of Everything. That's going to be playing at the Carousel Theater for the 2018 Fringe Festival. So, Katie, you're here, and tell us, have you done Fringe before?
Yeah, I grew up going to the Fringe Festival. My family and I would go and make a weekend out of it and see as many shows as we could in a couple days. So I've always loved the Fringe.
And the Vancouver Fringe?
The Vancouver Fringe, okay. Yes. And last summer, Andrew and I took this show to Saskatoon Fringe, and that was the first time I've been to a Fringe festival outside of Vancouver, and it was so much fun.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is my first time performing at Vancouver Fringe.
Okay. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so exciting. So you've done this same show before, but in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
And you said with Andrew, Andrew Wade.
Andrew Wade, he wrote the show, and he plays Hullaboo.
Okay. And who do you play in the show?
I play Michaela the Magnificent. Hullaboo's an imaginary friend, and Michaela's the little girl who invented him.
Okay. Do you want to just tell us a little bit more about the story or the show itself then?
Yeah, it's about Hullaboo, and he's an imaginary friend, and Michaela is starting to grow up and is starting to sort of forget about Hullaboo. She's a little too cool to play make-believe, and so it's all about what's happening to him as his person is moving on. He sort of doesn't know what he's doing.
Okay. And Hullaboo is the name of the imaginary friend?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess we'll find out when we see the show where that name comes from. And so you were saying earlier that Andrew Wade is the writer of the story. He wrote a short story, and then he's chosen to turn it into a play. And so you were saying that he incorporated things like from his own life into the story.
It's really fun. It's about a childhood, so we see flashbacks to Michaela and Hullaboo's childhood growing up together, and it's really fun to see there's a dinosaur phase and there's a monster phase, and so it's all I feel like it's probably part of Andrew's childhood. He can correct me when he watches this if it's not true.
Alright, well that's your impression at least.
Yeah.
So you said you did it in Saskatoon, and so how many times have you actually done the show?
I think we had 8 performances or something in Saskatoon, and then we've just gotten back from Salmon Arm. There's a theater festival, the Theater on the Edge festival up there, and we did that this past July.
Okay.
And yeah, it's the first time we've performed this show in Vancouver, so I'm really excited, so my mom can come see it.
Yay, Mom! She's probably very excited.
Oh yeah.
And so, can you tell us, how did you get involved in the production? Did you know Andrew before?
Yeah, we'd done a couple shows together in Vancouver, and he had someone else playing the part initially, and 2 weeks before it was supposed to open in Saskatoon, she booked a 4-month-long paid theater contract, and so she had to bow out of this project. Fair enough, that's good for her. And so I found out, and I sent Andrew a message, and I said, I'm available, I'd like to do your play, that would be fun. And so 2 weeks later, we opened in Saskatoon Fringe, and I think we had 4 rehearsals or something, and our tech.
Wow.
It was scary, but an adventure. It was really fun.
So since having very short notice of when you first opened the play, have you seen the play grow since then?
Absolutely. We were the first performance. We were like, "Is this your line? This is your line. This is my line." It was scary, but really fun. But now we've sort of relaxed into it. We've had time to explore and get to know each other better as scene partners, and it's come a long way. I'm really proud of the show.
All right. So the next question is, what has the creation process been like? But I guess I kind of just asked you that. But yeah, have you felt like, have you felt like you've grown in the show, or?
Yeah, I feel like as we've gotten to know the characters a little bit more over the time we've been performing, I feel like I'm just taking more risks and noticing different things in the script that I hadn't noticed before, and just really exploring the characters and the material that we have to work with. It's really fun.
All right. So with this show, what can people expect from it? And who's the show for? Like, who's going to enjoy it?
I think everyone can enjoy it.
Okay.
There's two, well, my character, she's growing up and she's wanting to move past her like security blanket and sort of grow up and take new steps into preteen land. And for Hullaboo, his world is totally changing around him and he doesn't have any control over it. And so it's watching him go through sort of a crisis of his identity and trying to find his purpose in this new world and looking forward to his future, and he doesn't know what to expect. So I think we can all relate to little bits and pieces of both of their stories.
Yeah. What ages is this like? Maybe you just want to answer what I asked.
And yeah, the show is appropriate for all ages, and kids will enjoy it too, so bring them out to see it.
Oh, I know what I was going to say is that you were saying that it's a show, like, everyone can enjoy it, because we've all been through that age. Like, we've all been 5 years old, and we've all been 12 years old, and gone through those stages. Well, I don't know if we all went through the dinosaur stage, but I know I did.
Yeah.
I remember learning all the names and just saying them over and over again, like Brontosaurus.
Oh yeah, you really enjoyed the show then.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So why should we come see the show? I mean, I'm sold already, but for everyone else out here.
Oh, it's so much fun. There's funny stuff. There's so many different adventures. There's so much heart to it, and I think the writing is brilliant. I'm really proud of this show, and I hope you come see it.
So it's funny. It's maybe is it a little sad in some parts? Okay. Is it a tearjerker? Might I cry?
I do.
Oh, yes, you're on stage, so you're probably
It's
supposed
true.
to.
I think it depends on how it affects you, how much you relate to the story, but he's so endearing. Andrew's such a wonderful performer, and yeah, he's really great in it.
All right, that sounds good. Cool. So we were talking about how Hullaboo grows up, or how Michaela grows up, and Hullaboo, sorry, stays the same, but he's the one who has to deal with not being able to move on, or like a sense of loss kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's relatable for a lot of people in all kinds of situations. Like, your life is changing and you can't control it, and it's not necessarily a terrible thing, but it's bittersweet, or it's bitter until you can see the silver lining. So people empty nesters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're like sending your kids off to college for
Yeah.
the first time. You're like, oh, I have to let them go, but I don't want to, but I know I need to in order to continue on with life.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
If that's you, you'll enjoy the show.
Great. So, who are you as an actor? And you've grown up in Vancouver, and you said you've been in a couple shows, and you've worked with Andrew before. Tell us more about you.
Yeah, I have always loved performing, and I was definitely a theater kid growing up, and I ended up going to Capilano University for their musical theater program.
Okay.
And so I've done a lot of musicals and shows in Vancouver, which is awesome, and I'm just starting to scratch the surface of Fringe, which is great. And I know Andrew went to theater school as well in Victoria, and he's done a lot of Fringe across Canada, and he has wonderful one-person shows, and they're always so full of heart and full of, his perspectives are so interesting. And now he's doing a two-hander.
And you said that, so this isn't your first show with him?
No, we were part of a 24-hour musical theater, like a musical writing competition.
Oh, okay.
And so we were locked in a room with, I think, 15 of us, and we had to come out of that room with a musical fully formed, and we were on the same team. So,
Okay.
yeah, we were locked in a room together, we wrote a musical. There were more people.
Was that a success?
It was so fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we were deliriously tired by the end of it, and hopped up on sugar, but it was, yeah, it was lots of fun.
Okay. So do you guys have a half-price show?
We do. It is on Friday at 10:30.
Right, great. So I'm Celine Blanco. This is Katie Kirch, who is in Hullaboo, The End of Everything, playing at Carousel Theater. Come and see it.